As the discussion ended, the queen broke down in tears. Her voice trembled as she asked, "If you eventually appoint a new king, what will happen to me? And what about the princess?" The room fell into silence. The chiefs exchanged glances, unsure of what to say. Then, slowly, the Onowu stood and replied with caution in his voice. "If the new king does not already have a wife, or he's not planning to marry one soon, he might choose to marry you. That is, if he finds you pleasing enough to consider. But if he already has a wife or intends to take another, then he may consider making you the second wife if he agrees." The queen looked him straight in the eyes, her face soaked with tears. "And what if he doesn't?" she asked quietly. The silence returned. Everyone looked away. Onowu sighed and replied slowly, "Then, Your Majesty, you will have to leave the palace." Without another word, the queen rose from her seat. Silent tears still streaming down her face, she walked back to the queen's court. There, in the privacy of her chambers, she collapsed in tears. "Is this life?" she cried. "Is this what I get for loving a king? Azuna, you can't be dead. You mustn't be. Where are you? Please return before they erase me from this palace. I can't take this humiliation anymore. No, I can't." Meanwhile, the chiefs had already fixed the date for the royal contest. 20 strong and vibrant young men would be chosen to compete for the crown. But before the contest, their appearance and character would be evaluated, and only 10 would be selected to move forward. On the third market day, the town crier beat his talking drum at dawn. His voice echoed through the village, calling all elders and youths to attention. Let it be known, 20 young men are to report to the palace before sunset. The time has come to choose our one true king. By sunset, 20 men had gathered at the palace gates, waiting anxiously. The chiefs came out with stern faces to inspect them. The queen watched from her throne, composed but visibly shaking. After careful selection, only 10 men remained. Heavy drums began to play. Dust rose into the air. The crowd gathered in numbers, some pushing past the gates, others climbing trees and rooftops just to get a glimpse. Chief Okoro stepped forward, his voice deep and commanding. "Today, we begin the contest not to find the strongest man or the most handsome. No, a true king must not only lead with strength, but with clarity of mind and depth of understanding. Let us begin with the first test, the wisdom riddle." The crowd grew quiet. The first riddle was asked. If a man stands by a river and sees his enemy drowning, what should he do? Some contestants said that they would walk away. One said, "I would tell him he should have learned how to swim." But a few replied wisely, "I would help him. Life is more valuable than personal grudges." The chiefs nodded in agreement. Second riddle. If a stranger comes into our village seeking refuge, should we welcome him or turn him away? Some said, "Send him away. He could be a spy." Others said, "Welcome him, feed him, listen to his story. Understanding brings safety, not suspicion." Again, the chiefs nodded. Third riddle. If a valuable treasure is stolen from the village, how will you find the thief? Some gave weak answers, but a few said, "Call the villagers Ask questions, observe, look for clues. Truth always leaves traces. The last reading was the most difficult. A great storm is coming. You must choose to save only one. A book full of ancient knowledge or a skilled farmer who can feed the whole village. Which one will you choose? Some chose the book, others the farmer. Only a few answered with insight. Without food, wisdom cannot survive. But without wisdom, even food can destroy. I will save the farmer, but teach him to pass on what he knows. The chief smiled. At the end of the riddles, only 5 men remained. 5 warriors, 5 thinkers, 5 possible kings. The people cheered. The queen sat still, her hands trembling. But one question lingered in the air like a thick smoke. Would one of these men wear the crown, or would Azuna return before the crown touches another head?